My very first time driving rail on my surfboard. Thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you, El Salvador. It's the day before I fly out to El Salvador. Please remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more Surfer Boy videos. As usual, it's always a date night before I leave. This time, we decided to get some Korean food, knowing that I won't have Korean in El Salvador. We were in for a Korean feast. I was hungry, already having a protein bar and 12 chicken fries before this, but we ended up ordering a bunch of yummy Korean food. Back at home, I was packing my surfboards last minute, as always. My goal was to travel with just two of my surfboards because I wanted to travel light. And the two boards that I ended up packing were the 5.5 IPA Supernova, which is my high performance groveler designed for 1 to 3 foot surf, and my high performance shortboard, which is my 5.8 Pyzel Radius Prime, which is designed for a good wave with extremely high rocker. This time, looking at the forecast, I did not take my Pyzel Ghost Pro. My spiritual download before flying out was the difference between belief versus trust. Belief is attempting to believe in the unknown, which causes doubt. Trust, on the other hand, is the inner knowing. If you know it, then you can fully trust it. Belief does not equal trust. Belief is of the mind, trust is of the soul. First day was a travel day. I arrived at the Pearson airport with my big surfboard bag, designed to fit up to 3 to 4 boards, despite me only carrying two boards inside of it. The two boards weighed in at 19 kilograms, which made me wonder, how do people travel with more boards inside their surfboard bag? During my last travel, I packed three shortboards, two epoxy and one PU, and it was 25.5 kilograms. And Air Canada personnel gave me a very hard time for going over the standard 23 kilogram limit. Despite wild inconsistency from the airline side, depending on who you're talking to in front of the kiosk, I always remind myself to be as polite and nice as possible. This is the first time I'm traveling with the surfboard flying Avianca. With Avianca, there's no limit on the number of surfboards inside your surfboard bag. Whereas Air Canada, the rule is that you can only have one surfboard in your surfboard bag, nothing else. After breezing through the security check, I'm always grateful for free lounge food. During my stay in El Salvador, I decided to stay at two different accommodations. First half of the trip, I'll be staying at El Tunco, which is the main surf town, with La Bocana being the home beach right in the backyard. The second leg of my trip, I'll be staying at K59 as the home beach, which is further away from the main central surfing town area. Once I arrived in El Salvador late at night around 8 p.m., I was greeted by the hotel owner Pedro, who I arranged the airport transportation with, and he showed up in his Toyota Corolla with a nice surfboard rack for my surfboard. It was dark at night, so on the way to the hotel, which is roughly 45 to an hour drive, I really couldn't see anything outside to gauge the scenery. Once I arrived at the hotel, I was greeted by the staff for the check-in process, and my room ended up being on the second floor, which was a standard room with a double bed. Got my first wave out of the way, where I caught a small one inside. It was my first time at El Salvador, and first time anywhere always makes me a little nervous. I guess that's the beauty of your first times. And the truth is that you can only experience first time once. Your body gets comfortable and becomes desensitized afterwards. I was sitting too deep and the wave just closed out on me. Wave 3 ended up being the wave of the day for my very first time at La Bocana. I was going left as I should be at La Bocana, which is the only real left-hand break in the nearby area, surrounded by right-hand point breaks after right-hand point breaks in El Salvador. My body refuses to re-enter to the bottom of the wave after a top turn because I was surfing in fear this session. The next wave I tried to go towards my right, but I felt stuck, unable to go either right or left, probably because I was too far inside, being fearful of going further out to catch bigger set waves with a cleaner, earlier entry. Again, I'm too far inside and everything closes out before I can do any turns going left side. And this ended up being my last wave as I'm exhausted from being nervous out there for the first time. After coming back to the Casa McCoy Hotel, I ordered some free breakfast. I asked for egg benedict and coffee. Being used to the faster paced Western society, the food took a long time to come out, but it was made fresh and it was delicious. At the breakfast table, I ended up having a long conversation with another surfer visiting from California. Today was my first day surfing and it was his last day surfing before flying out. Surfers talk a lot about surfing and the waves, especially to another surfer that speaks the same lingo. So naturally, the new friend Andrew that I met was raving about how good the waves were at K59 when he was surfing there. I told him that I'll be heading over to K59 for the second half of my trip, and he kept telling me that he's so happy and he's so stoked for me to find good waves at K59 because it was his favorite spot. I got back to my hotel room and I was reflecting on my first surf session at El Salvador. I was definitely on the wrong board, but Surfline said 3 to 4 plus to 4 to 5 feet at only 125 to 50 kilojoules of energy. And I thought, that's pretty weak in terms of energy, so it should be soft, right? The waves were definitely way overhead plus, with kids with stickered surfboards absolutely ripping. So why did I want to ride my Supernova, which is my high performance groveler designed for 1 to 3 foot waves? Because it was my first time here. My not enough mentality kicked in, and my brain was thinking, I will use my fastest board with the flattest rocker to catch waves because I don't want to embarrass myself missing waves. Therefore, I should be on my fastest groveler. But the truth is that when the waves have size and power, having your fastest, flattest groveler is actually a liability. You're not trying to generate more speed, you're trying to harness the speed and the power that's already there. For my first surf in El Salvador, compared to the Surfline cam, the waves looked huge in person. Not gonna lie, I was scared. I saw the kids with sticker boards ripping. They are competitive surfers trying to go pro, according to my new friend. Watching advanced and pro surfers rip make you feel extra anxious and nervous. All you want to do is get out of their way. Me. Is this wave beyond my level? And I thought at 125 kilojoules, this was gonna be a small, weak, mushy day. Numbers are just numbers, nothing more. 125 kilojoules on an app doesn't really tell you much about the power of the wave because it really depends on the surf spot, where the swell is coming from, how far it's traveled, the fetch, ocean bathymetry, what's underneath the ocean that's creating these waves. Those matter more than just a number from an app. So why was I so scared? To be honest, I really don't know. I surfed 4 to 6 foot waves in North Shore, Hawaii.
Bali, Sri Lanka. Even when I wasn't as good of a surfer compared to now, I was too shy, too intimidated to go near the main peak for optimal takeoffs due to the pecking order. But I was grateful for catching at least one wave at a time. It was a lessons learned. IPA Supernova is for fun-sized groomed conditions. It's not meant for powerful reef wedges like La Bocana when it's overhead. Everything happens for you. I had to ride my high-performance groveler in XTR carbon light construction first to be able to feel the difference with a high-performance shortboard in PU construction. Our human bodies are nothing but a delta sensor, detecting the differences. For my next session, I am switching to the Pyzel Radius Prime in PU construction, which helps to dampen the vibration and sits better in the water, especially when the waves are overhead. I didn't even realize that my old sword, the IPA Supernova, had a minor ding that had to be repaired with sun cure. Literally, the universe is telling me that it's time for the other board, the new sword 5.8 Pyzel Radius Prime. In the afternoon, I went out to get some pre-surf snack. It was my first time eating pupusas. Friend number 1 told me, "Bro, you gotta get the $1 pupusas." And friend number 2 said, "Bro, fuck dad. My stomach hurts so much. At Pizza Hut, you can get a personal pizza plus loaded fries with buffalo chicken for just $11. Friend number 2 was trying to save me from suffering multiple days of food poisoning that I was struggling with at the end of the trip. Food is a personal preference, right? I really did not enjoy pupusas as much. Felt like it had too much flour or too much oil or too much cheese. Anyways, something got me sick eating pupusas. Different wave shapes, even at the same wave height, requires different boards. For example, you may need more rocker to fit the shape of a more cupped, steeper wave in order to lock onto the wave to achieve face lock, even as the wave is moving with the same curvature. And even for the same height wave, if the wave is mushy or the slope is very mellow and gentle, then you need more of a flat rocker board for maximum glide to slide down into a mellow slope. Before going out for sunset surf late afternoon, I refueled with some burgers, fries, and C0. Literally what I do during surf trips is eat, surf, explore surf spots, eat, surf, repeat, and maybe party on the weekends. The backyard access, surf access rule in a capitalistic world. In most surf zones, especially reef or point breaks like El Salvador, access isn't public in the same way as a California beach. California is where I first learned how to surf on a beginner 8-foot foamy. Accommodations are usually the gatekeeper. Many surf spots are technically public, but practically privatized by geography and infrastructure. Hotels, surf camps, or hostels often have direct beachfront gates, which controls shortcuts through private land, offers safe storage, surf showers, and locker right at the break. These factors let you surf more, rest better, and be the first one in the lineup. It's no secret that capitalism loves to gatekeep because exclusivity sells. Surf travel rule of thumb. Book the break, not the town. If you're surfing daily, the break is your home. Make it your backyard. The real world benefits of backyard surfing is that you can be the first one to paddle out before the crowd, take midday naps, and get food in seconds after your sessions. You can do board changeouts, fin tweaks, camera swaps with zero friction, and no transportation stress, no Uber, no tuk-tuks required. Unknowingly, I stayed at the backyard beach access accommodation back in Aragon Bay, Sri Lanka, right at A Bay Main Point. Backyard sunrise surf, be the first one in line. I woke up at 5 a.m., but didn't paddle out until people did at 6 a.m. It's my first time surfing a new spot. Why would I want to play the guessing game? Being clueless where to enter and exit, where the channel is, or where the takeoff is. Is it your first time? Watch the locals and learn from them, all for free. Before paddling out for my sunset surf, I went up to the Surf City El Salvador sign to take a look at some waves. The funny thing is that on pictures, it doesn't look any different than lake surfing Lake Ontario in the winter. Here, a local surfer is showing us exactly how to ride these waves. When I stepped onto my 5'8" Pyzel Radius Prime in PU construction, I instantly felt more stable as the board felt like it sat better in the water. This board definitely handles steeper drops better, but it's a lot slower to plane compared to my IPA Supernova, which is my high-performance groveler designed to go fast. Looking back at my surf sessions, the recurring theme is that I keep surfing mid-face instead of going all the way down to the bottom of the wave for a deeper bottom turn. I know why I did this because by going down to the bottom of the wave, you're essentially growing the size of the wave, therefore it gets more intimidating. Subconsciously, I feel like I kept surfing mid-face such that the wave height was around my eye level, which is where I'm most comfortable surfing around head high. So the round tail of my Pyzel Radius Prime seemed to provide a lot better grip and hold during steeper takeoffs. Every surfer needs a board that they can really trust. For Hawaii and tropical surfing, please give me a Pyzel. For dinner, I had 3 tacos and a Coke for just $6. At the taco stand, I became friends with 2 new strangers, Leonardo, not DiCaprio, and Lucia from Spain. Leo was actually out in the lineup watching me surf, and he said, "You Canadian boys are too polite. You have to be aggressive and take your waves." Yes, Canadians are nice, respectful, and polite. Oftentimes we get stomped on by others all the time.
This is how you wash your hands here in El Salvador.
On the street?
Once you read people by their vibration, then the color of their skin, the language that they speak, the place that they're from no longer matters. It's all the same people wrapped around in different packaging. June 27th. Leo and I charged to the top of the peak at Sunzal at 6 a.m. In my mind, Sunzal is a long, mellow point break with the channel. It's big today, but it can't be that bad, was my thought before I was humbled by solid double overhead onsets. Surfing is mental. Before you experience real hold downs and big detonation, you operate in a mental framework of, if I fall, it's not that bad. That's why ignorance is bliss. You charge without hesitation. Your mindset hasn't fully internalized what a 2x overhead lip feels like exploding on your back. After a truly heavy wipeout, your nervous system learns the real cost. You remember the sensation of violent tumbling. You feel the panic response. Your body anticipates that next time. This is not cowardice. This is your brain updating its survival playbook. Your body is wise. It wants to protect you. Subconsciously, everything changes after a big wipeout. Before the wipeout, your psyche runs mostly on ambition, curiosity, and adrenaline. After a big wipeout, reality has introduced consequence. Your psyche balances ambition with caution. The risk-reward ratio becomes more apparent. This is the crossroad where many surfers plateau or evolve. Some decide to avoid those conditions. Some learn to manage fear with preparation. some slowly build confidence again. I knew that my Radius Prime was the wrong board, despite size at Sunzal, but I didn't bring my Ghost, so I experienced and learned more about wave shape versus board shape, the rocker. I needed the steepness to get into the wave, but then it was too steep to manage once I was in, is how I felt on the wave. And this is the classic paradox with the wrong board for the wave. High rocker board force you to wait until it's steep enough, but that means that you're too deep when it throws. This creates entry dependency. You can only catch the wave once it's critical, but then you can't make the section. I needed a longer rail line and lower entry rocker to tap into the slope early. High rocker boards require the wave to do more work, and Sunzal's slope wasn't giving it easily. I knew my 6.0 Pyzel Ghost Pro was the board for Sunzal at size, not my 5.8 Radius Prime with an extreme rocker. At La Bocana, I felt like, oh my god, high rocker sticks to cuppy wave like magic. However, at Sunzal, I need steepness to get into the wave. And yep, 2x overhead is a wave of consequence. Just look around, you sense the vibration. Fear was in the air for the entire lineup. So what happens? You can't get on a wave due to mellow slope, despite size. You paddle hard, yet miss, and now you get hit on top of your head with the big set, fighting strong current in the impact zone. Or you make the steep drop, what feels like dropping down from a building. You stick the landing, but the wave in front is a fat, heavy whitewater closing out on you. There's nowhere to hide, no lines to take, no barrel to hide under. You race to get ahead of the whitewater, but it's too late and you get stuck. During a sunset surf late afternoon back at La Bocana on my 5.8 Pyzel Radius Prime, I caught my first right-hand wave at La Bocana. Usually people leave the rights alone because you have to paddle around the main A-frame peak to access the rights, while everyone was fighting over the lefts. I wanted to give a right a try, and I ended up getting a decent wave, but at the end, instead of snapping to re-enter back into the wave, I ejected. And it was due to my fear-based mentality where I felt like I was too close to the inside section where I felt like I was gonna be pounded in the impact zone. So due to fear, instead of snapping back into the wave, I just ejected out of the wave.
After I ejected off of the wave, just look at the size of the wave that I need to duck dive. Look at not even just the size, but the thickness, which makes the duck dive even more difficult. What people like myself underestimate is the swell period, especially coming from surfing the Great Lakes on a very, very short period wind swell. We usually surf starting from 3 to 4 foot swell height at 4 to 5 second period is when we start surfing in the Great Lakes. So we are the masters of surfing short period mushy wind swell. And even if you surf on the east coast of Canada and the US, you're usually surfing shorter period swell compared to surfing longer period swell coming from the deep Pacific Ocean. When I was surfing in Costa Rica for the first time last year, I experienced it firsthand where I was fearful of even dropping into any of the waves due to how high it feels looking down into the wave that you need to drop into. Feels like you're needing to jump down from a two-story building down into the wave. And this effect is amplified by the sudden change in elevation due to how fast and how much of the water gets sucked up under you in a very short period of time. And your body is a delta sensor, so the sudden shift, sudden change, sudden difference in the height as you get sucked and lift it up on a wave makes your body freeze in a fight or flight response. If you made it this far to the end of the video, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. These videos take a long time to create and edit. So if you enjoyed the content, please hit that like button and subscribe for more Surfer Boy videos. In the next video, the part 2 of my El Salvador surf retreat, I'll take you further inside my new Surfer Boy lifestyle, from the late night parties by the beach at a surf town to going exploring different surf rigs such as El Zonte, K59, and K61. I share not just my surfing journey as I progress from a beginner surfer, I also share my spiritual journey of connecting to my higher self and ascending through consciousness level.